Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today was the day of the Mont Ventoux Dénivelé challenge, one of the most recent additions to the French calendar and one of the most exciting one-day races in the calendar. It is a high mountain one-day race, which is something that is very rare nowadays, and it's also one of the most unique classics, so to say, and the show was promised and the show was delivered. There were several riders at the start line of big importance, like Nairo Quintana, won during the Chalet Reynard in February, Miguel Angel Lopez and Alexander Vlasov. There was last year's winner Jesus Herrada, and several other climbers there in the start list targeting a big win. The race didn't go to the exact summit of Mont Ventoux, although the race is named after it. It went firstly to the Chalet Reynard, and then the finish line was, I don't remember exactly the name of that col, but it was right below the finish of the Mont Ventoux. It was perhaps not a surprising win, but it was a very prestigious win by Alexander Vlasov, who finished third in the Route d'Occitanie some days ago. Very good result. The Russian is really kicking it in Astana, and Astana really have a very good rider here in development. He took over Miguel Angel Lopez, who neither today, neither in Occitanie was feeling very good. Vlasov, in the meantime, was feeling the exact opposite. He is in great form. He's won a stage in the Tour of Provence earlier this year, and he's taken now a second one very, very near, also in the Provence area. So he's very dialed in into this region of France. So that's something that's really to take attention in the future. Perhaps a Paris-Nice would be a race that would suit him very well. He clearly enjoys racing in this part of France, in this part of Europe. It was a very strong win. I don't know exactly with how many kilometers he attacked. I just watched the race, and I believe it was around 4 kilometers. After some, well, Pierre Latour's attack wasn't threatening, but he was the first rider to move to the front and really stay there for a while. Guillaume Martin's move was very threatening. He attacked with something like 7 or 8 kilometers to the finish, and at the point when he reached Chalet Reynard, he had around 20 seconds of lead. It was really looking threatening for the Frenchman. You can never really see when he's uncomfortable. He's very stable on the bike. He looked threatening. I actually hadn't even noticed him in the start list. I had noticed number one, Jesus Herrada, was there to defend, who finished this race in 9th place. So not a horrible result, but clearly unable to match the result of last year to defend his title. Martin eventually didn't manage to do so as well. He finished third, but still a very solid third place in front of Pierre Latour and Fabio Aru, finished 4th and 5th. Alexander Vlasov attacked with 4 kilometers to go. He went solo very quickly. Porte and Quintana took a little bit of time to respond, and eventually it proved a little bit critical because it did seem like Richie Porte had the legs to follow Vlasov. He just didn't follow the right timing, whilst Quintana blew up, which is perhaps a little bit understandable because he just had an accident 2-3 weeks ago before coming back to Europe. He was hit by a car. Fortunately, it wasn't a serious accident. However, it may have dealt a little bit of a blow to his form. So I wouldn't deem this as preoccupying yet for the Tour de France. He still managed to finish 8th. I'm going to believe that it is indeed some issues of that accident that are still taking him back a little bit. Porte eventually finished second to Vlasov, just 18 seconds away. It wasn't a big gap, and it's good to see the big man from Australia to come back to the high mountains in good spirits. Now, I know that finishing behind Vlasov isn't perhaps the result that he was expecting in the beginning of the day, but Alexander Vlasov is, I can promise, very strong rider. He's really coming about on not only Astana, but also in the World Tour peloton. He's coming around very strong, and although Porte finished second, he's not going to take a motivating win from here. That could have happened. I take very good motivation from seeing him do well like this. He did very well in Occitanie. I don't know exactly how his form is, but what I know is that he's been fading a little in the high mountains on the last few years. That's where his main issue has been, and he's done well today. He's done well. Pierre Latour finished 4th. Also Fabio Aru, another one of the riders that is always seemingly on a comeback since 2017, I think. He's had plenty of health issues, injuries, a lot of things holding him back. We don't really know if he'll ever come back, when he'll come back if he does. So every race is just a gauge to see if he really is turning a bit of form. There was a promising interview with him some weeks ago where he said that he was back, well, not back to his best, but he's overcome his issues. He finished fifth. It's not a brilliant result, but it's not a bad result as well. So there's a little bit of a motivating sign. He still has some time to get ready for the tour where he can really show his power. Sixth was Colombian Aral Terrada, which is another name that I really wanted to talk about. Now, not an unknown to me. I'm not sure if he belonged to Astana already last year, but he was a very good surprise to me. He worked a lot indeed, and he really showed the legs of a pure Colombian. Now, he worked for Vlasov, he attacked, he counterattacked, and after all that work, still he managed to recover a little and then finished sixth, in the middle pretty much of the chasing group. Kenny Alexander finishing seventh, also a solid result, and Quintana Herrera and Valentin Madua who finished 10th. Miguel Angel Lopez eventually finished 12th. He cracked very early on in the climb, still then recovered and came back to the group, but then cracked again. Terradas finishing 6th, though made a little bit up for it, but Astana did get the win, so Lopez probably won't be very bothered. He's still a little bit off form, Lopez, I will say. He's also targeting the tour, which starts in around 3 weeks, so Lopez's case I would deem a little bit more concerning because although the Grand Tours are always decided in the last 2 weeks, they can be lost in the first week. And there's quite a lot of climbing in the first week, which several teams can seize to take advantage of Lopez if he still enters the race in quite some low form. Nonetheless, it was a great race, some great performances by Trek and Astana, the two teams that I was expecting to see perform very well, and Cofidis was the other team wrapping up the podium, so it was all between the lines of what I was expecting. Nonetheless, it was a good race. I'm very excited to see what Alexander Vlasov is going to be able to do in some even stronger competition, and what he's able to do also on the Grand Tours. Now, he doesn't have any Grand Tours scheduled actually for this year. I don't know if he's going to take part in the Giro, if he's going to take part in the Tour. What I do know is that it's going to be his debut in the Grand Tour, so probably he won't be leading. However, he's an exciting prospect, and I'm really looking forward to see what he's capable of doing in the Grand Tour. So yeah, it's been a good race. It's been a good show. Tomorrow is Friday. Exactly, have to see. I don't remember exactly which races we have on the calendar now. However, I like this video. If you like this video, just leave a like, subscribe if you want more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.